Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Sorry I'm posting this so late, but my partner just left, so I obviously was not going to take the video while they were here. Yeah, so Bobby Joe here, and we're talking about how we came to realize our identities. So for me, it's kind of like a long process. At one moment in high school, I almost figured out that we'll start with my sexuality first of all. So I almost figured out that I was gay in high school, but didn't at the same time. So at some point, one of the guys in my high school came out as bi or gay. I can't remember. And I just we went on a walk with my dog one day, and I was just curious as to how he knew. So I asked him how he knew, and he was just like, well, I just knew. So then, because I didn't know at that time, just got it in my head that I wasn't gay. And I also got it in my head that I would know once trying to have sex with a guy. So it's another part of the process of me coming out. Yeah. So that was the first stage where I was like, oh, I don't know, so I guess I'm not gay, and just went back into the closet. Then it was literally just meeting my first girlfriend that a light bulb went off, and I was like, oh, this is why I'm not really fitting in with the straight crowd, or I didn't feel like I liked boys. I also was never sober when I had sex with a guy, so that was another thing. Yeah. Also, there wasn't anyone in my high school who was my type, even though I don't necessarily have a type anymore, but I used to have a type. So that was another reason. So figuring out my gender took me longer. Oh, also my sexuality no longer is the same. And so I used to identify as a lesbian, and now I identify as just queer, sexually queer. Almost pansexual, but I definitely have certain genders that I'm more attracted to. Trans identities are where I'm mainly attracted to, but there's a theory that you're attracted, homosexuality is being attracted to the same as you, as opposed to attraction to a certain gender. So it would make sense that before I identified as a woman, I was attracted to female identified people. I identify as trans, and so I'm more attracted to trans identified people. So my gender took me a while to figure out. A lot of the reasons was I have had 2 breast reductions. And so before my first breast reduction, I was a size 30I or H. Really, really large chest. And because I had a really large chest, I figured that my dysphoria was with the fact that it was really large, as opposed to having just dysphoria with a female chest. So the pros, my first reduction, I wasn't reduced very much. My surgeon was very body policing, and even though I told her I wanted to be as small as possible, even an A would be nice, which should have been a sign then. I have a doctor's note. I have the report from this surgeon of me asking for a size A, which helped a lot when it came to talking to my doctor now, because he could have history of 5 years of me wanting to be really small chested, because that was when I was getting out of high school is when I went to have my first consult with my breast surgeon. And so I asked for a size A. She reduced me 1 size because she thought I would be pear-shaped otherwise, and that I would have a lot of issues because I was so small compared to the other women she had breast reductions for, but my body is really small. So she only reduced me 1 size. I was really upset about this. I went for a second breast reduction. That was done not this past summer, but the summer before. She reduced me a good amount. She actually listened to me. I would recommend this doctor for anyone who's wanting to get a breast reduction in the Lower Mainland, or even in the lower parts of the island in British Columbia. She's really great, Dr. Jane Sproul. She listened to me, and I actually went back to her. I had another consult with her after my reduction, where I told her I was really happy with the results. I'm just not happy having such a big chest, and I wanted her to reduce me to be like a size A or smaller. And she pretty much recognized that I was trans. Like, she was just like, what you're asking for is what other doctors do. I can't do this for you. It also wouldn't be covered. If I brought you into the surgery room, everyone would know that I had lied and said that you could be covered. You're not supposed to be covered for this. So she was basically like, you're asking for a mastectomy, and I can't do that. Also, when I first contacted Dr. Garamoni, I was asking for a breast reduction as well, and to see if it was possible to get like a size A or smaller. And he had said that it's actually like impossible to reconstruct a very small female bodied chest, and especially when I'd already had 2 breast reductions, the risks increase, which is what my original doctor, Jane Sproul, said. So that is why I ended up deciding to go for top surgery, and I'm happy that he said that it wasn't possible, because now that I've been sitting on it, and since then, like, it kind of like forced me into realizing that actually a male contoured chest is what I want more than the small female bodied chest, because I mean that's just what I identify with, and I'm very happy that I got forced into that. So that is another aspect of the surgeries that made me realize that I am genderqueer, or the extent of my genderqueerness. I think I jumped the boat here. Okay, so I had my reduction with her, and then the first little bit I was like super happy, because like comparatively to what I had before, it was much smaller. And so in comparison, the first couple of months I was like, sweet, I can deal with this. This is awesome. After the like, I guess, newness of the small chest wore off, I started to feel like they were huge again, and way too huge, and started to really disidentify with them again. And then the thought process went through my head of like, if you can't handle your chest being this size, which actually isn't that big, reasonably, like I'm a 30D double D now, which is not actually that big. If you know how bra sizes work, a 30 double D is the same as a 32D, which is the same as a 34C, which is the same as a 36B. So my chest is not actually huge. It's just my frame is small. And now my frame is actually a little bit bigger because of being on testosterone. So I'm sure that I'm actually like now a 34, or no, not a 34, probably a 32. So, but I don't wear real bras, so it doesn't matter. So then I started thinking critically about why it is that I did not was not okay with my chest now when it's actually significantly smaller. And like I can shop for clothes pretty well if I wanted to have my boobs showing and things like that. And so that's when I still really started considering a genderqueer identity, and started noticing other things that I would have liked differently about my body. Like, I've never liked my voice. I've never identified with my birth name. I've always felt like my voice was too high. I've gone through many different names throughout my life. Like when I was younger, I went by JoJo or Joey. Then for a long time, for a long period, I've just gone by Joe. The only people who have ever really called me by my full name has been family members, and they don't even call me by my full name very often. Like, I remember having conversations with my grandfather being like, oh, what's the nickname you're using now? So that's not something new, and a lot of that is because of how gendered my birth name is. And so yeah, it was really the process of those 2 breast reductions that made me realize that there was a reason why I didn't like my chest. It wasn't just because it was so big. It was because it's a female chest at all. And that's, if I had not gone through the process of the 2 breast reductions, I don't think I would have realized my identity. That was very essential in it. I do recommend having a breast reduction if you have a very large chest and you're not really sure about having a full top surgery. There's nothing wrong with getting an intermediate breast reduction first. I don't see anything wrong with it. I can tell you all about my process of having 2 breast reductions. If you need be, I can, just send me a message, or I can make a video on my YouTube channel about it. Maybe I should. Yeah, maybe I should. Besides that, those were the main things that helped me realize that I was trans and come to terms with it. And then I started meeting people who were meeting more people who were trans or genderqueer who actually use gender-neutral pronouns, and that was a big thing because at first I didn't like gender-neutral pronouns, so it was coming to terms with the gender-neutral pronouns. Okay, this video is getting long, so I'm going to leave. I hope that helped. I don't really have advice for that. I think this is more of a personal story type thing. It's okay to play with your gender identity for a while and testing it out. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Testing out different pronouns are okay. Like, I've recently come to decide that I actually don't like male pronouns anymore, and I only like gender-neutral pronouns. That's something new. So, again, only gender-neutral pronouns for me. They, them, there. There's nothing wrong with testing out different pronouns. There's nothing wrong with just thinking on it. Well, that was my phone. Oops. Yeah, so I'm going to head out. Sorry I made such a long video. Take your time to think on it. Like, if you're questioning it, that's okay. It's okay to be questioning. It's okay to be in a middle ground. Yeah. Bye. Have a happy Wednesday night.